I'm Graham.
And I'm Corinne.
And we are Too Talented. Welcome to the Too Talented podcast. We are going to be talking about AI and your job search. And there is a lot to unpack with AI in a job search.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. More specifically, when to use AI in how most effectively to use it during the job search in your resume, and what you should be cautious of and when you should not use it.
Yeah, for sure. Well, how's it going?
It is going good. The summer is almost over. It's pretty crazy. It's like a week and a half before our kids go back to school. A week? A week
from today.
Woo!
Yeah.
Says all parents everywhere.
Absolutely. We're having a huge party.
They're getting very bored.
Yes.
Yeah, but it's good. So yeah, trying to do a few fun things before they go back. And we finally had a cool day in Colorado where it was not like 100 degrees. So that was amazing. And yeah, everything is going. I just kind of can't believe it's like August, 6th right now.
Yeah.
So how about you? 5th, August 5th.
August 5th.
What's going on with Strides and your running, Graham?
Yeah, Strides is good. I feel like May, June were kind of nuts, and I ended up bringing on a part-time recruiter to be able to help with the volume. And I'm working on 2 positions right now. Speaking of AI, they're both very AI-centric. AI is beginning to create positions. So these are called forward deployed engineers. And if you haven't heard that job title, you will.
Forward
deployed engineers. So it's basically people who are both an engineer and client-facing. Which is a very unique skill set, but it is being hired regularly.
So what did they do?
So from the course positions are all different with the same title.
Yeah.
One is a data engineer heavy role, and they will go and work with Palantir Foundry, which is an AI tool, to be able to help clients maximize their usage of AI.
Mm-hmm.
And the second one is more of like a product manager. So they will be taking an existing SaaS platform and helping clients add features to it and vibe coding what those features might look like. So yeah, kind of unique roles.
Okay.
But it seems like this is one of the roles of the future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And running?
Running's good. I did the 100K about 6 weeks ago. I've had a little trouble bouncing back and feeling normal after that race. I kind of buried myself in the last 10 miles to finish. So yeah, it's been a little bit of a slow comeback, but I'm starting to feel better and a little, not like I'm slogging every run, which I did feel like for a while. But yeah, it's starting to come around, and I think I'm going to do Lake Sonoma 50 miler in October. We're going to take the boys out and hang out in Santa Cruz for a couple days and then go run Lake Sonoma.
Super fun. Yeah. And it's like recovery from ultras is never linear and sometimes very slow, depending on just what happened during the race and your effort and altitude and everything else. Heat for sure. I have a lot of athletes right now who are feeling kind of sluggish as well, and I'm like, it's hot.
Yeah,
that's a big piece of it. So stay hydrated if you're listening to this. As Sally McRae says on her podcast, go drink something right now. Electrolytes. But you also don't have anything coming in the super near future, so you can kind of just be going off what you feel like, and kind of nice not to have like super structure. Sometimes you need a break from that. I've heard a lot of pros actually lately saying that they feel like they just needed a reset or a break or something like that. So anyways, you will be accompanying me at UTMB.
I'm excited.
3 weeks from now?
Yeah.
So I'll be running UTMB Mont Blanc in like 3 weeks. Been doing a ton of climbing and using poles and being out in the mountains for a long time. I've probably done more long days than I have ever in training. Not like mileage, but just spending. There've been multiple times I've spent 5 to 7 hours, 4 to 7 hours in the mountains in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
And that's a long time. So hopefully that translates to getting comfortable being out there for a while.
Because tell the people what is UTMB?
UTMB is a 160 or 72 kilometer, which translates to a 106-mile race around the Mont Blanc Massif. And it starts in Chamonix, France, goes to Italy first, then Switzerland, then back to Chamonix, all in the Alps, the European Alps, and climb around the height of Everest, 29,000 feet or so over that. So it's burly. It's a hard race. And hopefully training at altitude a little bit will help it feel. The high point in UTMB is only about 8,500 feet, which, we get up to pretty regularly. And
it's
I've
like 2,000 feet higher than the house.
Yeah. And I've been spending a lot of time running between 8 and 10 plus thousand feet, if not higher, going up to doing some 14ers and being, like in the Leadville kind of 10, 11,000 foot range. So hopefully that will also help. But it's a massive race. It's like 3,000 people in it. International. We looked at the we know of some people racing, and yeah, it's stacked to say the least, but it always is. It's like the Super Bowl, and I feel like every single American elite woman is also racing it that I can possibly think of. So not only is there the international, but basically every pro female in the U.S. is also lining up. So should be really exciting and really fun. But I'm excited just to, experience it. It's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. So every time I'm on a very difficult climb, I'm just going to try to look up and enjoy where I'm at. And even if it's dark, imagine what it looks like, because I maybe will have seen it in the days before.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but then also going to be out at Leadville. We have friends who are going to be pacing.
Yeah.
Leadville 100, which is the week before UTMB, and I'm going to be doing some media stuff. So lots of running stuff happening. So it's full on right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Shout out to Tommy Runs, who I'm wearing black skin, looks good on trail shirt. Got my Women Can. It's an advocacy ally day for everyone. So yeah. Excited. It's in full. Yeah. I'm tired, but I feel like I'm getting pretty strong. So that's great.
I would agree. Especially when I paced you the last 12 of your run last week near Pikes Peak, and
30-mile run.
And I mean, you were at mile 20 when you picked me up, and you were still moving really well. And then finished the downhill strong. So that bodes very well.
Thank you. Woo.
Yeah.
Be a lot. All right.
We'll have to figure out how AI can maybe help our running in the future.
Well, I'll tell you,
run for us.
One thing I did is I put the mandatory gear list into AI and had it help me create a packing list. And then I also added in a few things that I, always bring, and then like my own, I don't know, it's helping me create a pretty comprehensive packing list. So that's great with little check boxes.
That's really cool. Yeah. And a great use case for AI to be able to kind of help organize and structure things you need to bring on a trip.
Yeah. And it was putting in things for consideration for afterwards and for traveling. And it even suggested compression for the flight back. So, it's doing a good job with that.
It's awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about how to use AI in your job search, kind of the right ways to use it, and then from our view, some of the wrong ways to use it, because there's definitely some areas that we've seen personally where, it's created red flags in a candidate that has been problematic. And in many cases, once you have a red flag like AI, created someone's resume, maybe added things that weren't there to it, that ends their candidacy for jobs. So we want to give you kind of some of the things to be careful of, but also some of the things to use it right. So, in my experience, it's a great editor and a great tool. And we'll talk about how to use it with your resume. But it's a good research assistant, can help you think of things, find companies maybe in your area that maybe you weren't familiar with. I've had it give me a rundown of companies I should be targeting. And it always comes up with companies. I'm like, who the heck is this? And, after recruiting in the Colorado market for 20 years, you'd think I'd know everybody, but I don't. Yeah. So it's a cool thing for that. Brainstorming, And then ways to organize and focus your search, kind of like you did with the packing list, similar things for your job search.
Yeah. On the brainstorming front, I think that's definitely helpful because it can kind of look back through a lot of, through your existing resume, maybe your LinkedIn profile, and like help you really remember things that are applicable, that you need to highlight. And especially if you're like somebody like me who doesn't have the most amazing memory of all time, like it can just kind of help jog that. So I like the brainstorming piece for sure.
Yep, for sure. You want to talk through things
Yeah,
shouldn't?
So things that should not be or act as, I think, in this ever evolving world of kind of the voices of AI being very prominent and people being very leery of like, oh, that's AI generated. Like, I don't like that. Or that sounds like AI.
Yeah.
You don't want your resume to sound like AI. You want to try to keep some voice and your own identity and personality in it because that is, something unique you have to offer. It should not be embellishing, and we'll talk about this more, but your experience in any way or like, changing things from actual fact. It should also not be really influencing kind of how you speak during an interview and how you communicate things. Like you just, you don't want to sound like a robot. Like you want to make people you're interviewing with laugh. You want to make them like smile, like, so you got to kind of take that piece out of it. You don't need to sound like a machine, basically. And then you should not also use it as a tool for kind of mass producing applications or applying to a million jobs. It's pretty obvious when I look at somebody's application and it's just like either doesn't align at all or like they didn't take any time to complete the answers. There's all kinds of errors. It's just like, people don't tend to respond to a LinkedIn message that is really, really canned, automated. Same thing on the other side. You need to check and pay attention and go through those application processes individually to make sure that you're making sure they're accurate and completing all the information. And then, it should also not act as a substitute for judgment or honesty. That's pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah, I've got a couple of things to talk about when we get to that one. That'll kind of be like, oh yeah, oh boy.
Yep. For sure.
So one of the best ways, and I've helped people do it, I've done it with my own resume, is using it to edit and modernize it. So, the copy of my resume I'd been using until ChatGPT came out, I created in college. So the fonts were from college. A lot of the highlights were from college. My education was on top, even though it was 20 years ago. There's a number of things that was kind of old school. So I asked it to modernize it. And, even like it was like a 10-second wait to get it to do it. And it looked awesome. And I was like, oh yeah, this is great. So one of the things that I asked it not to do is 1, change any content, and 2, change my voice at all. Yeah. So I asked for it to offer some suggestions of improvements in different parts, but it didn't want it to just take over and start doing stuff.
Yeah.
And I did add a couple of those improvements in there. I was rewording a few things, minimizing some very long ago experience to make my resume a little shorter. But I had full control over what it was doing, but it worked great.
I think that's an important point. Tell it what you don't want it to do.
Yeah.
Tell it, not to change the voice or to keep the same voice. I tell it often not to include M dashes.
Me too. Oxford
no
commas.
M dashes, no bolds.
Yes.
I am an Oxford comma person. So
no, thank you.
I'm good with Oxford commas.
But yeah, bold.
I believe Lord is also in favor of Oxford commas, and she's a poet and
Lord, not the Lord.
No, Lord, LORDE. And so I think I feel pretty confident in her writing abilities.
Can keep those.
Get out of here. But yeah, tell it what not to do also.
Yes, absolutely. But I agree with you on the bold. Bold does not belong in a resume unless it's like bolding a company name.
Or maybe like the header of the section.
Sure. But like when you see it like randomly, it's like, what? Are you serious?
Like, are we just like trying to emphasize that? Should we say that word louder than the rest of the words if we're reading it? So yeah, I totally agree. But great use case for helping make your resume look good.
Yeah.
And making it succinct and kind of sound great too. Just make sure it keeps all the information factual.
Yeah, and one other thing you can do is take a job description that you're applying for,
Yep.
and ask it to maybe reorganize your resume to
align with what the job descriptions look
for sure. Like if you've got like something buried like 5 bullets down, maybe it'll take that bullet and put it to the top, so it really highlights it. So things like that could be great.
Yeah, as a reminder, recruiters usually look at resumes for about 10 to 15 seconds.
Yeah.
So you want things to be front and center and high up in the resume.
For sure. And we'll talk about this in more detail in a minute, but what you don't want it to do is add things that maybe aren't there just because they're on the job description. I've run into this a lot where someone has created a bot, taken a job description, and then added things that didn't exist in someone's background to it. And boy, that is just, an instantaneous me going, you're no longer moving forward instantly. It's lying on the resume.
Yeah.
So you want to make sure it doesn't do that.
Yep. Agree.
Another thing that it can help you do is prepare for interviews, which is great. I've had it do some research for me. Like, for example, I kind of put my foot in my mouth. I was reaching out to someone I'd been talking to for a while about working with their company. And they're like, hey, did you see that we got bought 30 days ago? And I was like, no, I didn't. So I then went to ChatGPT and say, hey, can you tell me about this merger? And looked through it. And I was like, something I should have done. So it's something to be aware of, something that, if you're interviewing for a company and they are getting bought, it might not affect that job, but you want to know, because if you don't know that big piece of news, it shows you didn't maybe do the research you were looking for. So it's good things to do to research the company.
Yeah. On the flip side of that, it can make you look really, really good. If you know that is one way to impress an interviewing team is to know recent events that have happened with the company, whether it's just press releases about things that they've done or, customers they secured or big wins or whatever. And that is a great way to use ChatGPT. Just tell me everything you can find about this company, that's happened in the last year. Or something like that.
Yep. Another really cool thing that it could do, I heard this from somebody else, is put the job description in and the company and ask it to give you some sample questions that they may ask you during the interview. So you can then practice those questions.
Yeah. There's a chance that they might do that too.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you might have the same questions and you can cheat the system and be way ahead of the game of already knowing what they're going to ask.
Absolutely. So yeah, it's a great way and it's good practice. It's a good way to kind of be thinking beyond when you don't know anything about what they're going to ask. It's a little bit daunting, but then if you can kind of narrow in the possibilities of questions that they're going to ask, it can help you really prepare well.
Yeah. And I think if you're going to do that, maybe also put in who you're interviewing with, because that might change what the questions are. So sure. I'm going to be interviewing, tell them the scenario.
Yep.
Tell it the scenario. This is who I'm going to be interviewing with. This is my second round interview. It's a video call. I've already had give as much information as you can. And then it might help. And then say, could you help me think of some things they might ask? And don't assume that that's going to be 100% what happens. It's just a way, like you said, to practice and kind of think about things that they might inquire about that you want to have answers for on hand. Yeah.
What you don't want to do is during the interview, take the question they're asking and then try to get the answer from AI. That goes directly into something that happened to a candidate of mine. But that can come off as very inauthentic. And it ended someone's candidacy with a hiring manager recently for me. So we'll talk about it. But on the fly, using AI to help you answer questions is not the right move.
Yeah.
Another thing you can do is build a target company list. Instead of just applying randomly to just jobs that are out there, you can be looking hey, I'm looking for this size of company. Maybe you specialize, you work for a number of publicly traded companies. So you want to know publicly traded companies near you. Or private equity owned companies, if you have some experience with that. Or, hey, I want to have a founder led company because I'm excited about cultures of founder led companies. So that you can narrow down and then take those companies and start looking for jobs that they're posting if you're specifically excited.
Mhm.
So that can be a really cool kind of way to build a list for it.
Nice. Yeah. And then our next section is kind of helping improve outreach and follow up. I mean, I think you and I both now working for ourselves use it sometimes as a bit of a coach. This is what's going
Yeah.
on in our businesses, and help suggest some things we should do next, or what do you think of how I'm doing this? If you were a CEO, entrepreneur, founder, whatever, and so you can also do that with your job search of basically saying like, you know, here's what I've done so far in my job search. What else would you suggest I do? Could you help me, find some groups on LinkedIn to network with or networking events? It can help you think about like ways to format thank you notes and follow-ups after you have interviews. So even if you're not somebody that's like super used to communicating with, these hiring teams and stuff like that, like, yeah, ChatGPT knows a bit about that and can probably suggest some things to help you feel more comfortable and confident, but also guide you in like, what should I do next, in this situation.
One of the things that I've started to do is kind of ask it to help me craft, a strategy for something. So like, for example, like I want to go after, here's all the placements that I've made. What type of persona should I be going after next? And it offered a suggestion of the type of, professional that would be interested in something. And I said, okay, based on all this, can you help me craft, an outreach to someone who is in that persona? And so then it spits out, the possibility of an outreach, which I liked some of the content and I hated some of the content. So then I took that outreach and I edited it. God, I'm not even gonna try that again.
Edited it.
Yes. For me and
Yeah.
made it my voice and took a lot of the content, but added, my voice into it because it sounded really robotic. It's AI.
Yeah.
But then I created something that I think looks amazing,
Yeah.
and it's short and to the point, but it uses the content that it created.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things is like, you can't just put something in, have it spit something out, and then just like, okay, I'm done, use it.
Right.
Like you got to refine it. You got to look at it. You got to actually read all of it.
Yep.
I have an example. I'll mention just something else exciting that's going on maybe at the end of this podcast. So you have to stay tuned with Women Can, and then how I kind of have used ChatGPT recently in helping me with that endeavor. But the point of that is that I had to do a lot of editing and little tiny changes over and over and over again to get it to be something that I felt comfortable with. But what it created originally was great. It was a great starting point, and I would have had to be a graphic designer to have created it basically. So, it's really helpful, but you've got to like read it, really think about if it's something you would say, and then add your own stuff into it.
Definitely.
So.
All right. Now let's get into the T. What are the worst ways to use it?
Okay, the T. Okay, the worst ways to use it. Don't add stuff that's not true to your resume. Like,
yes.
It's just baffling what people do. Like, you have an example, but like people will like put that they live in a certain place, and then I will ask them, and they will be like, "No, I don't live in Mississippi. I live in Louisiana." And I'm like, "Dude, like,
that's a 5-hour commute.
It's a waste of my time here. Like, don't do that."
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things I had was I had posted a software development job, and I had somebody apply, and it was kind of a head scratcher because the job that I put out there, the combination of skill sets probably was not going to exist in one job. It was
a unicorn type thing.
Yeah. So, which it was fine. I was like, you could have a combination. You use this back-end software in this company, this front-end software at this company, and that works. So I had a guy who had the combination in the last 2 jobs that he'd worked for 5 years, this exact combination. I was like, this is wild. Didn't know there was a company that used this tech stack. So I call him, and we start talking about the one that's really in particular tricky to find. And I was like, so you used, I'll just say it, Rust and React. Rust on the back end, React on the front end, in these last two companies. And like I hear him go, and he was like, well, I used React at the last two companies, and I've used Rust, but it was more like in my personal experience. I'm like, man, it's all over your resume. And he was like, can you send me a copy of that? And I was like,
What?
a copy of, he was like, well,
A copy of
I
your
have an
everything.
AI tool that
Oh.
applies for jobs for me and
no.
modifies my resume a little bit. And I was like,
Mhm.
and we're done.
Mhm.
So like, it's just don't allow it to do that.
Yeah, you're going to have to speak to everything that's on. Your resume is literally like a written, almost legal document of your experience. And you are going to tank yourself immediately if there's something on there that is not accurate.
Yeah, and the frustrating thing with this candidate is actually he was a pretty good candidate. I might have moved forward with him otherwise. But the fact that he used AI to falsify his resume was a deal killer. I mean, what else are you lying about? What else did AI create? Are you actually a software developer? Do you actually live in the location there? I mean, it creates all these questions. So it's just easier for the hiring manager, the recruiter to just go, nope, you're dead. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So so don't allow it to do that. You could get if you're not super confident in the things that are on your resume, it's gonna come out. Because I mean, I knew instantly when he started to kind of backtrack that wasn't true, that he had that, and I mean, then it was over.
Yeah. You need to be able to, there's this thing called the STAR method, which is situation, task, action, and result. So anything that's on your resume, you need to be prepared to kind of speak to it all in that specificity. Because that's the whole point of the next interview, to get specifics. What did you do with this? What did this project look like, and how did you tackle the whole thing? Like, they're going to get specific. So you need to be able to speak to all of it. And if it's not true, then you're not going to be able to speak to it.
It's true. Using bots to apply to jobs. And this is one that is big in the market, and it is causing huge problems. So I posted a job 2 weeks ago, another software development contractor role. I got 500 applicants in one day.
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, I can't guarantee you, I would bet half were just bots slinging stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I got people who were like working in go-to-market roles, which is like marketing sales in Chicago, applying for a software development contractor to hire role that had to sit either in Denver or in North Carolina. So like, why? Like I'm not even like, why would I? So I have to review someone's resume who is absolutely nowhere near a fit. And frankly, if I called them and told them about the job, they'd be like, I'm not qualified for that.
Or they'd be like, oh, I didn't know I applied to that.
Which is funny because like I'll get that from people occasionally, like, oh, which job is this? It's like, what do you mean, which job is this? How many are you applying for? And it's because they're using a bot. Well, the problem that creates is you get 500 resumes that get sent to a recruiter or a hiring manager. And then they're not going to review 500. There's no way. I mean, that's a ridiculous amount of time that you would spend on, if you spent 10 seconds on a resume, that's 5,000 seconds. I don't know how many hours that is, but it's more hours than you think. So there's no one who's going to do it. So what happens is they'll just review it as quickly as possible to just get through it. And they're going to miss resumes that are good quality fits, resumes that should get a call that just get missed. I mean, it's hard to know. So using a bot to just sling your resume all over the place, it sounds good. Volume sounds great. But it's the same thing that I talked to someone who hired a company to do outreach to every hiring manager that they could think of in their market. So they ended up sending 100,000 emails to a variety of different managers. And you know how many clients they got out of it?
Probably very few.
One.
No way.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
They got I think a total of 10 responses. And this is on 100. Man, volume just is not the game.
Yeah. And it's also kind of lazy,
Lazy.
It's like, it just shows, it just is not exemplifying the skills that you want that employer to see in you at all. And it's even, it's making me think that it's even shifting a bit in like the social media landscape and like user generated content and influencers and stuff like that. Like I've seen a fair amount of stuff lately that's like, we want non-influencers.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's this degree of authenticity. There's this degree of like doing the research and actually putting some effort into it, or like somebody, you know, recommending something who actually uses it and is, can speak to it, that people trust and care about. Like, so it's almost like it's shifting from mass, you know, to more, just like if you got an outreach on LinkedIn and it, you know, was very like just canned and generic and bulk or whatever, you know, like you're not going to respond to it. It's the same thing. So you
like,
want to make your applications like meaningful.
For sure. It's stuff on LinkedIn, stuff on Instagram. Someone will say, it's like, they'll start the whole, you know, video with a bold comment and be like, "You're running all wrong." I'm like, nope. Just get the ick instantly. Like, get away from me. You don't know me. So authenticity and using a bot there's no way to be authentic using a bot.
Yeah.
So other things that can happen is, and right now you're getting a lot of this, and myself included, is there are a lot of fake candidates, made up profiles, made up resumes, that are out there that are looking to, I don't know what they're looking to do, probably infiltrate a company and hack them internally. It happened to us in my last company.
Crazy.
We ended up accidentally hiring a North Korean who tried to hack the company that we had placed them at because they had stolen an identity from someone who lived in China. It was really nuts.
That's crazy.
So one of the things that I've got my guard up at all times is thinking about, is this candidate that I'm looking at real or fake? And there are definitely some red flags that you can face, but you as an authentic person applying to a job know that any recruiter or hiring manager has a little bit of that guard up, like, hey, is this real or not? So they're looking for things that don't look real. So if you're using a bot or you're using too much AI, you could get caught in that filter. I talked, for example, someone 2 weeks ago, and they had a very American sounding name. It was like Jacob Smith or something like that. And I talked to the person, and they get on the phone, and they weren't amazing on paper, but they were good enough to talk to. Lived in Boulder, went to University of Colorado, worked for a company I'd heard of, and as a software developer. So I started talking to them. They have a very heavy Asian accent, but no big deal. This role absolutely could work for. They were living near another contractor I had out there, so that I felt like, man, maybe they could grab coffee occasionally. So I'm talking to this person, and I'm starting to get some like red flags. Like, they were really articulate about when I would ask about something, like, tell me a little bit about your experience at this company. And they would just really nail it. And then I would ask them a question that was a little off kilter, like, oh, I see you live in Boulder. What part of Boulder do you live in? Because, you know, I've been to Boulder a million times.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was like me asking a complex math equation. They like had to sit and like, what part of Boulder do I live in? I'm like, just tell me where you live, or ish. I mean, and I'm not comfortable sharing that. Whatever you want to do. I was just curious where they lived.
Yeah.
Well, then I asked them, like, well, how long have you lived in Boulder? And then they said the deal killer. I was born here. So this person with a very heavy Asian accent, who I'm not sure it would have been possible to have that accent if you were born in Boulder. And not saying that they weren't. Maybe I was wrong. But when they said they were born in Boulder, I was like, you were born in Boulder?
Well, they also didn't know where in Boulder they lived.
They didn't know where they lived.
That's a bigger one for me. Yeah.
And then at that point, I had my hackles up and I was looking for stuff like, this sounds like a fake candidate. So the reason I tell that story is this is what a recruiter...
So but tell the end, because what happened?
He hung up on me.
Yeah. Yeah.
When I questioned whether he was really born in Boulder, he hung up on me.
Yeah. It's like, so there you go. There's your answer.
The reason I tell that story to any candidate is this is what hiring managers and recruiters are also dealing with. So if you put too much AI or if there's too much bot in your job search, you're going to get put into a category of this person looks fake. And, you know, this person is dangerous and I need to stay away from them. And so that's a risk that you run by using too much AI.
Yep. Agreed.
The last one I think we should do just kind of the one more, using it during an interview.
We kind of talked about that. Like,
Yeah.
just don't really do it.
Yep. I had someone do a code assessment 2 weeks ago, and they were specifically told not to use AI, and it was okay if they made mistakes. They just wanted to see the person kind of walk through the code assessment. And whether you love or hate code assessments, I'm sure most people hate them, but that's part of the process these guys were using, and these people knew it. And this person apparently was using AI extensively throughout. They could see they're looking at a different screen, coming up with cut and paste type things. So they instantly got pulled from the interview process because they were told they couldn't use it. So don't.
And you may start to see people like with stuff like that, like you having to go in person and like do it right there without a computer or whatever, or like with, a very limited kind of tool or something. Just to confirm, just to verify that people aren't using it. But yeah, don't just don't do it. And that kind of leads into just that authenticity is a bit of a competitive advantage for you. I mean, that is, you're applying for a job. You're going to have to interact with people at this workplace. You're going to have to interact with the boss.
Yeah.
Like there's still every interpersonal skills and communication are still very, very important. And at the end of the day, people want to work with people that they enjoy being around and that they can get along with and that they like talking to. So lean into that and, be authentic and be who you are, because that's going to add, to the culture of the company at the end of the day, more than, anything that AI could produce for you.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's a good stopping point.
Okay, wait, I have to give my example. So Women Can, just a little plug of something very exciting is happening. We're going to be in the Colorado Springs REI.
Yeah.
Woo! So Women Can will have a booth or a little display there with some products. And
what kind of products is Women Can?
Women Can is apparel right now and accessories. So we've got some cute little zip totes and also a variety of shirts, both cotton and performance material. And so, but it's more, it's more than just that. It's very much a movement. And so we are launching in REI Colorado Springs the 15th of August. I think the store opens at 9. I'll probably be there for a few hours in the morning. So if you want to come in, come say hello. But the cool thing is I have to create, a little display, little flyer about the brand and myself as the founder. So I've been using ChatGPT, specifically AI, to help me create that. And it's come up with really cool formatting and a really cool look, but I've done a lot of modifications, like, please use this logo and make it this font and this logo, because my logo is what is kind of the staple and the signature of the brand. I had it remove the womencan.com website, because that does not exist, off of this little flyer. Change, it gave a little blurb of like my second athletic career came after I became a mom. And it's like, since then I've qualified for UTMB and done this and this and this. I'm like, change qualified for UTMB, because half the people reading this don't even know what UTMB is, and change that to, I've run 100 miles in 15 and a half hours, something that everybody could kind of like understand. So I've made a lot of little modifications to it. And then I'm going to input our own photos and stuff. But I really, really like the general kind of formatting and look that it gave me off the cuff. So that will be on display with it. And we will also probably be launching another pre-order of some of the most popular things from the last race day collection. So it's very exciting.
It's very exciting.
Very exciting.
Very proud of you for sticking with it.
Thank you. Cool. And a huge shout out to my friend Jay, who has been a huge advocate and really the one helping me get into REI. She's awesome. So I cannot thank her enough. It kind of came about organically, but it's a big opportunity that hopefully will lead into a longer term partnership with both REI and just continued growth for the company. So it's really exciting.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for joining us on Too Talented. If you like what we did, give us a like, a review. We really appreciate it. And leave us a comment if you've had anything good with AI specifically happen to you in your job search, or if you've had anything bad happen. We want to know that too. Give us the tea.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next time.